And our word for today, on this Friday of the 26th week in Ordinary Time, our word for today is heed, taken from our reading from the book of the prophet Baruch, chapter 1. And I want to say this as I get started on this reading, there is a tremendous gift in this reading for the people of God. In fact, it is the onus behind what brings them to the point of conversion that we're seeing in this reading today. See if you spot it. See if you hear it the same way that I heard it as I read through this reading and discovered this fabulous gift that sticks out, that is the thing that drives the people back to God. During the Babylonian captivity, the exiles prayed, "Justice is with the Lord our God." And we today are flushed with shame, we men of Judah and citizens of Jerusalem, that we with our kings and rulers and priests and prophets and with our ancestors have sinned in the Lord's sight and disobeyed him. We have neither heeded the voice of the Lord our God, nor followed the precepts which the Lord set before us. And the evils and the curse that the Lord enjoined upon Moses, his servant, at the time he led our ancestors forth from the land of Egypt, to give us the land flowing with milk and honey, cling to us even today. For we did not heed the voice of the Lord our God in all the words of the prophets whom he sent us, but each one of us went off after the devices of his own wicked heart, served other gods, and did evil in the sight of the Lord our God. Did you see it? What is the great gift that is given to this people that they might be converted to the Lord their God? They acknowledged the fact that Moses was their servant, was the servant of God, that he led them out of Egypt into the promised land, which flowed with milk and honey. But they also acknowledged that they didn't heed the voice of the Lord their God in the promised land. So when did they begin to heed the voice of the Lord? This is the gift. During the Babylonian captivity. When they were led from the promised land into slavery, that is what reopened their eyes to the Lord their God. That is what ultimately led to them seeking him once again. When they finally discovered that what they had chosen to serve, the way that they had chosen to live their lives, had brought such pain, such suffering, such bondage into their lives. Now there was only one way to look, and that was back to the Lord their God. Abraham Lincoln said, "I often find myself on my knees because I have nowhere else to go." Isn't it wonderful when we've run out of every other option and what is left to us is the Lord our God, whom we are called to serve, whom we are called to love, whom we are called to give our lives over to? We need to heed his voice, brothers and sisters. But I will tell you, the great enemy of that in our own lives is apathy, that we're comfortable. We have everything that we need. It appears that we have figured out a way to live this life in a way that we don't have to suffer a lot, where we can accumulate the things that are important to us. And in that apathy, there is a turning away from God. In desperation, we often turn to God when we realize that those things that we've accumulated do not bring us the joy that we thought that they would bring us. When we look at our lives and measure it and say, I want to serve the Lord my God because I find that there is no joy in all of these other things, then we begin to heed his voice. Yes, for this people, the great gift was the Babylonian captivity. What is it in our own lives that God is using to draw us closer to him, to bring us to the realization that nothing in this world can give us the joy that only God can give us? Heed our word for today.